Yeah. Wow. What is going on? Let me go ahead and stop that. What is going on, everybody? This is episode 1 of the Chaos and Calamity Sports Podcast, baby. I am your host, Lee Jordan. I just want to take a second. And give you a little bit of rundown of some of the stuff. Let me turn this down a little bit. I don't want to blow your ears out. Let me give y'all a quick rundown of what this is going to be. I am, like every sports fan, a crazy sports fan. And I wanted to bring a little bit of objectivity to the sports media, the sports podcast, the sports landscape in general, because there seems just to be so much fanaticism taking over. Fanatics are taking over. They're even starting to invade some of the, sports, daytime sports that we know and love. They're invading the conversations, and we're losing a little bit of the plot here. We're losing a little bit of the foundation of what the sport is. So I am by no means a professional. I am by no means an ex-player. I am a crazy fan who I think has enough ability to be objective. Yes, you see me in my KC hat. I am a KC fan. We can get that out the way later. But I believe that I am equal parts fanatic and objective. And look, I don't want you to agree with everything I have to say. You don't have to agree with anything I have to say. I just appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, comment, rate, share this with your friends, your family, and just let them know that there is this crazy cat out here on the West Coast trying to bring a little bit of normalcy, a little bit of clear-headed thinking, a little bit of calm to this chaotic world. And so that's what the intention is behind this. This is not anything. I don't have the backing of an ESPN, Sports Center, First Take, First Things First. I don't have those types of backing. I'm not Colin Cowherd. It's just me right now trying to make this thing work. It's not going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. Nothing in life is, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be authentic. I'm going to have the time of my life. I love football. I love basketball. I love football more. Basketball is one of the passions too, but I was tall growing up, so I definitely heard my share of, you should play basketball. You should play basketball. So I kind of got a little beef. I had a little beef with that sport growing up, but football is my passion. I love football to death, man. And we're just going to talk. We're going to have us a grand old time, man. And like I said, maybe we can make something out of this. But Chaos and Calamity, the reason I call it Chaos and Calamity is because that's what sports leaves in its wake. Super Bowl, supposed to be the biggest spectacle among the two best teams. Pure chaos at the end of that game, at halftime, because of what was going on. And that is sports. I'm going to get loud. If you probably haven't put that together already, I'm going to get loud. I'm going to get passionate. I'm going to get hype. And that is also a part of the chaos. That is what it is to be a fan, is to be crazy, is to be chaotic, is to leave pure calamity it's to engage in pure calamity and have pure calamity on your timeline when you're engaging with people on Twitter, when you're engaging with people in the comments. So that's what it is. It's an embodiment of what sports is, which is pure calamity and chaos. So let's get right to it. I know y'all see the board here. We're up having a grand old time. Let me actually fix this because I don't want this. I don't want this hanging. This is what I meant. This is what I meant by this is imperfect. It's gonna be imperfect. It's gonna be imperfect. It's not gonna. Hold on, gotta get this 3M off and hope it doesn't peel the paint off when I move out of here. It's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna have a clean, consistent setup. It's gonna be one young man, one young crazy sports fan, having fun, doing his thing, and trying to make sports make a little bit of sense. So that's my goal here. This is for crazy sports fans by a crazy sports fan, as I go and I talk about the crazy world of sports. Like I said, it's just gonna be me, no moderator. So I might lose track, but I'll never lose point. I guess the only moderator I got is my iPad that has all my notes on it that I'm gonna try and talk about and make sense of. I'll definitely, you'll hear me talk about some things that I heard people say. You'll hear me talk about things in my own way. You'll hear me, talk about other people. I don't care. Sports is a microcosm of so many different people, and that's what makes it great. So, yeah, shout out to Stephen A. Smith, shout out Rich Eisen, shout out Mina Kimes, Molly Karam, Shannon Sharp, Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, all of those guys who I watch, weekly to learn more about the very thing that I'm talking about, learn a deeper approach, and see what I can glean and put my own spin on to make it both fun while also being as true to form, as authentic, as insightful as possible. Like I said, I'm not any way well connected at all. I don't have a producer in my ear, telling me, feeding me facts. It's just me, my board, my iPad, and my craziness. So let's go, man. Let's go. This is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And I am super, super, super excited. I want to thank everybody for watching, even though there may not be, and that's fine. I'm gonna still do this, whether it's 1,000 people watching, 100 people watching, one person watching, or the entire world watching. I do not care. I am just a person who is passionate about sports, and we all got to start somewhere. So that's something else you'll notice. There's a lot of imperfections. My sound probably ain't gonna be all that to start out, but this is also a little bit of a boost, a pick me up, a beacon for people who are thinking about doing this. Like, hey, do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have first take audio. You don't have to have first things first, set design. You don't have to have any of that. Just start, and the authenticity, the passion, all of that will bring you right where you need to be. So, man, let me sit up a little bit, man, because I want my microphone to be seen, right? I don't want it to look like I'm talking to nothing, right? All these things are gonna work themselves out, but it's all about just starting. Just start. I remember growing up, Sports Center did not look the way it look now. First take wasn't really the thing. First things first, everything looks different, everything evolves, man, but it's all about starting. So if you want to use me as a motivation point, use me as a motivation point. I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm not here for, to appease the public. I'm not here for money. I'm here to talk about what I'm passionate about and let that passion be known and let this energy out and just have fun talking about the sports that I love. I don't plan on sticking with just basketball and football. I plan to expand far and wide. But again, we all got to start somewhere, man. So I'm not going to let nothing negative get in my way. I already had to deal with my own head and dealing with that for years while I was contemplating doing this. And I let myself buy everything that I needed to buy. I sent it back. I ordered it again, and now here we are. So, man, I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna fix that. Even if it's with just like some tape or something, because I don't want these wires hanging down, man. I want it to look like this board is just lighting up by itself, even though people could tell it's Govee product. So, shout out Govee. If Govee want to sponsor your boy, go ahead, show me some love. It's tough. This is gonna get way better. Look, this is the beginning, and you got to start somewhere. I'm going to repeat that so many times. And like I said, this is not going to be perfect. I think in one of my bios on one of my social medias, it's the Imperfect Show. Speaking of social media, follow me on Twitter at CC Sports 360. Chaos and Calamity Sports. We're gonna have a lot of different takes. We're gonna have a lot of this is where a lot of our content is gonna be uploaded to. So just rock with me. Just rock with me. Have fun with me. That's what it's all about. I don't care about money. You know, I got a job that takes care of me well. I have a life outside of this, but this is something that I'm passionate about, and whatever happens down the road happens, and we're gonna let it happen. Let it happen. I've already accomplished the hardest part, so I want to give myself some ups. I did everything that I needed to do to get started. And once you get the ball rolling, you never know what can happen, man. So that's my little tale of inspiration and wisdom and, you know, motivation to people is don't look at what you see others doing and how well it's put together for other people. Just go. Just go, take off, do it yourself. And you may wind up having something that is absolutely incredible. Never ever give up on yourself and just start. And with that note, Chaos and Calamity Sports, people. Chaos and Calamity Sports, the only place where crazy sports and crazy sports fans collide. And this is about to be amazing. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Let's go ahead and kick it off right with wow. A ass kicking of a Super Bowl, man. Like I said, I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan. You see the hat, you see the shirt, man. I'm a Chiefs fan through and through. I'll get more into my story, my background on how I fell in love with football a little later. Because I just got to get this out. I don't want it to be too long. I'm thinking anywhere between an hour and 90 minutes of just pure, unhinged chaos and fun. What an absolute drudgeoning, a bludgeoning, a dragging through the mud, a beat down, whatever you want to call it. That's what the Eagles put on the Kansas City Chiefs, man. And I'm gonna be objective here. I'm a passionate sports fan, so if I get a little hype, that's okay. But objectivity is something that I always try to pride myself on. Objectivity and authenticity, man. So let's get into it. Y'all see it. We got the colors. Eagles win. Jalen Hurts was the MVP. 40-22. Although it was 34-0 in the third quarter. This game was over at halftime. But what I want to start with is this line right here. I don't know if y'all can read it clearly, but this says D-line. 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 This says D-line. And like I said, this is proof that I'm not out here on any type of producer setup. This is all me. I'm looking up the names of the Eagles defensive lineman for sure. I know it was Josh Sweat. I know Josh Sweat went crazy. Milton Williams went crazy. Jordan Davis went crazy. Man, it just felt like everybody went out of their mind. Just when the rubber had to meet the road and 2 weeks was over with, the Eagles defensive line said, "We're better than you. We're better than you, and we're gonna show you that we're better than you for four effing quarters, man." I mean, from the very jump, I took notes on this game. It's okay, y'all can't read them because this is my personal stuff. But I took notes. I took notes on this game, and I took first half and second half notes. And the first few lines of the first few real game breakdown, because every first few lines is about any penalties that I see that I think are a little rough or a little ticky-tacky. But man, the depth of these notes is all O-line chose worst time to shit the bed. Chiefs offense cannot execute because of the O-line. O-line still shot. D-line destroying KC's game plan. O-line issues ruin any execution. This is where I am going to start. In order for you to do anything on a football field from any team standpoint, from the team that has the ball standpoint, you need a good line of protection. Everything except kickoff, because obviously, and even before the dynamic kickoff rule change, you still needed you didn't need a kickoff, rather O line. Everything else, punting, offensive pass plays, offensive run plays, punting itself, right? And I already said punting. I meant field goal, extra point. All of those require a good line, and we actually saw the Chiefs win a game where, I mean, the Broncos line isn't bad, but they had a weakness on that line that the Chiefs knew about, game planned about, and at the right time exploited. So we saw even the Chiefs have the ability to win a game by affecting the line of one of the crucial elements of a team, one of the crucial phases, as it's called. So, man, the line is so important. And what frustrates me is I see a lot of people putting the blame on Mahomes today. And Patrick did not play well. Like I said, I'm objective. Patrick did not play well. Patrick looked skittish. Patrick looked unsettled. Patrick did not look like he could sit down and scan in the pocket. So therefore, he could not get comfortable. One of these notes here, there's a ton of them. There's a ton of them. Plus takeaways was, I said, oh, here it is, 3 words: Mahomes, not, comfortable. And that is not an indictment on Mahomes, the player. That is an indictment on the pieces that were around him that need to work perfectly to allow him to be comfortable. The offensive line is so important to a football team's success week in and week out. And they got their asses handed to them. And these are Pro Bowlers. Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Joe Tooney, these are Pro Bowl offensive linemen. But the issue is, it has to be perfect in the positions that they are. And if you move one of them out of their position, it disrupts everything. It would disrupt everything on that side. So if you take what they did, they took Joe Tooney from left guard and they moved him to left tackle. Now the entire left side from Creed Humphrey on over it's not the same. It's not going to be the same because that side now has 2 pieces that are not the best trying to go up against the best every single time. They're going up against ones every single time they play. And the beginning of this year's season, of the 2024 season, the beginning of it for the Chiefs highlighted this issue. Now, they were winning because they're a great team led by a great coach and a great quarterback. They were winning, but it was shown that you need an offensive line to play lights out in today's NFL because defenders are just that good. I don't care if you're a Pro Bowler. That is a year-long stat, but the NFL game is a Sunday to Sunday to Sunday to Sunday thing. And on this particular Sunday, the offensive line chose their worst time to have a bad game. I'm disappointed as a Chiefs fan, because you can lose certain games and as a fan be happy. It's not a moral victory thing. It's we played well. All the units played well. This is just a loss. This is just part of sports. The reason this is so disappointing is because we saw this. We saw this type of loss before, where the offensive line just got overwhelmed. We saw this in 2020 against Tampa. And it felt like, and I would never besmirch the great Brett Veach. I'm gonna sit up a little more. I would never besmirch the great Brett Veach. Oh God. Sorry. I would never besmirch the great Brett Veach. I would never, I could never besmirch the great Brett Veach. But if I were him, when I saw what I saw, if I were him and I saw what I saw in 2020 against Tampa, I would have immediately made that offensive line 5 strong. Immediately. I am never allowing Patrick Mahomes to get destroyed that much and look that incompetent of running the offense because of the offensive line. You can't do anything if by the time, hold on, wait, I'm going to come back to that in a second. I would have immediately fixed the offensive line. And that's what hurts about this loss, right? It's almost like if you've ever gotten a cut on your anywhere on your body, but particularly places where there's high activity, so your hand, your foot, your arms, or anything like that, and you get a cut there, and then it's starting to heal, and then you get cut again there. Maybe you bump it, and the scab reopens, and now there's a whole new level of pain because, oh my God, I just re-injured what was already hurt. And it's not the most equal metaphor because we weren't hurt like this. The offensive line didn't look like this the past 2 years prior to this season. But you can tell that it wasn't as stout as it could have been. And I think they took a chance. They let Donovan Smith go. I think that was a mistake. I think drafting Kingsley was a mistake. Now, again, I'm not in these draft rooms, and that's as professional as I'm going to go. But I think these things, you can't patchwork it. You cannot work on this as you're going. This is something that requires you to stop and fix. I likened it to a hole on a boat where some holes on a boat, they give you a little leakage. You can still operate as the captain of the boat. You can still navigate the seas. Some little holes, they give you a little leakage. You find a way to plug them as you go. And there are other holes that will sink you if you do not stop and fix them right now. And I can't tell you what happened over the last 2 years. To the greatness of Mahomes. And it's going to be lamented properly over time. I can't tell you what happened over these last 2 years where the receiving game wasn't the greatest. The offensive line, it wasn't the best that we've had. Some of these guys are still coming into their own. Some of these guys were rookies and still developing. But they still found a way to win. But with a team like this, with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you shouldn't find a way to win. You should have a stout way to win these games, and it starts up front. So my takeaway, one of my big takeaways from the game, I got it written down here. One of my big takeaways from the game here. Let me see if I got it. Can I do it word for word here? Do I want to do word for word? I'll do word for word. One of my big takeaways was, and I quote, "Chiefs need an offensive internal audit. Everything under a microscope, down to the way the offense is designed." And that actually wasn't the one that I wanted to read. Did I not write it down? Did I not write it down? I didn't note it down. I didn't note it, but I noted it in different ways. But I'll go ahead and say it like this: 5 years. I actually wrote it in my second half notes. 5-year offensive line overhaul. Not completely. No. Guys like Creed Humphrey, set. I don't know what they're going to do with Trey Smith. Joe Tooney, set. But over the next 5 years, and it may be shorter than that, maybe 3 years, I expect the Chiefs to have the best offensive line in the league for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career. They are going to continuously reshuffle this thing to forever have the best line. The reason I think 2020's loss was it happened, it hurt, but this was also in the middle of a pandemic. We had way bigger things to worry about than retooling an offensive line. We had the health of and safety of people to worry about. I still would have fixed it. This one, this, and even still, that game, you knew going into it. You knew going into it, this is probably going to be rough because we knew the tackles were out. One of them got hurt in the AFC Championship game, where I'm actually and here's my thing. Here's another thing that I believe. Quick side note, I believe really makes me. I believe really makes me different is I have to be accurate. I have to be accurate, so I will take a second. I don't care. I will take a few extra seconds to get as accurate as possible, as opposed to as opposed to 2020, as opposed to trying to rush and just say stuff and not come across as clear as possible. So let me go ahead. And I just want to get this guy's name right because he was huge for us, and it's been 5 years. A lot of stuff has happened. I am a real fan, but it has been 5 freaking years since this moment. Man, what was it? Hang on. Chiefs, Bills, playoffs. Because I gotta get this right. I'm just that type of person. I have to get this right. Don't ask why. Don't ask why. I'm just. It's just a part of who I am. It's just a part of who I am. ESPN apparently is making it just impossible for me to find the name. It's okay. It's okay. I will come back to it. I will absolutely come back to it. Let me see. Let me see if I can do it like this. I absolutely hate if you guys ever look up the Super Bowl and you look it up the season that it happened, it will tell you it will tell you the year that it happened and not the season. Man, can I have the injury report? I feel like I'm spending too much time on this, but I don't care. I want to be as accurate as possible. I want to be as accurate as possible because this is important and these things matter. These things absolutely matter. Let me see if I can find the injury report going into it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let me see who's out. Eric Fisher is who it was. Eric Fisher tore his Achilles in the AFC Championship game against the Bills, and we knew going into the game against Tampa that this is going to be tough. The reason this one is so different is because we thought it was okay. We thought it was a lowercase p problem. We knew it was a problem because of the first, what was it, 8, 9, 10 weeks of the season this year. We knew it was a problem. But we thought it was a lowercase p problem, something that you can patchwork throughout the season and it can go. We can make it work with Patrick Mahomes and the rest of these guys. We can make it work. No, it turned into an uppercase P problem. It was the boogeyman for every Chiefs fan. It was in the back of our heads as something that we knew was possible. We knew was possible against a ferocious D-line. Now, all the other teams, they had two guys who could really get after it. Eagles, Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith, there's a Jordan guy. Jalen Carter, not Jordan. Jordan's my name. Jalen Carter. So now you got three plus anybody else on there. So it was just different. It was just different. And different team, definitely same result as what happened in Tampa. So I definitely expect a major overhaul that's really going to catch the league off guard because I bet a lot of people, I heard Rich Eisen say this, and I love Rich Eisen to death, but Rich was lying when he said that this is the blueprint to beat this team. That is the blueprint to beat a bad team that does not know how to correct its issues. The Chiefs are going to correct this, and they're going to correct this right now because that pissed them off. That pissed them off. See, like I said, losing happens in sports. It's by very nature of the sport itself that you have to lose. Losing like that on that stage, yeah, that pissed them off. That absolutely pissed them off. And I believe that you're gonna see not only a rejuvenated, you want to give a 3-time Super Bowl champion a chip on his shoulder. give him NFL gods. Give him a performance like that, and you're gonna see exactly what a pissed off Patrick looks like. And that was the story of the game for me. The offense could not execute because of that. I want to talk about some of the things that I was yelling, like, hey, quick pass game, hey, run game. I don't believe any of that would have been able to work if you're not able to block anybody. And one thing I noticed, every now and then they'll do a replay during the game live, and they'll show the end zone view, which is, from the quarterback's perspective on forward. And dude, you're seeing guys go out for routes, and it looks like they're loafing, like just looking back. And these are full speed replays. These aren't slowed down. Full speed replays. They're just looking back, and they're just engaged with someone. Like their hands are on them, but they're not trying to disengage to get open. On the play, I believe it was where the interception was thrown to Zach Bond. I gotta catch the all 22 here, but I believe 2 guys ran stick routes or dig routes where they just go up 8 yards and come back in. They go up 5 yards and come back in. Fam, that's not gonna work against anybody, I don't believe, because if I'm keeping everything in front of me, if my front four is ferocious and I'm keeping everything in front of me, dude, you're gonna have to make me move in order for me to get off this spot. Because I'm sitting here, someone else is sitting next to me, and we're just sitting. No one's moving us out of this zone. No one's moving us out of this. And no one's moving within these windows. We're all just sitting below where the Eagles are. And so if a quick pass is to be thrown, it's going to be immediately hit because there's one person trying to move people and everyone else is just sitting. And I don't know. Again, I don't have a call sheet in front of me. I don't have a Madden view breakdown of what these plays are supposed to look like. But you cannot tell me that the solution to the quick game solution that you're thinking of is not slants, not get the ball on the move, not even behind the line of scrimmage. Quick stuff where you're jet sweeping these guys. So now, I can't just pin my ears back and run because they're gonna run past me. No, there was no making them think. Look like it was from the first snap. Pin my ears back and go. And it was, this is what we're gonna do all game. And that's where the frustration comes from as a fan, because yes, I understand they are a vaunted defense, but you saw with a little bit of protection, you saw the deep shot to Worthy, and then a little later on in that same drive, or maybe the next play even, you saw the touchdown throw to Worthy. So you saw what happens when you can get a little bit of protection and Mahomes can work his magic. 2 plays, boom, touchdown, boom, boom. We saw Mahomes light up a Fangio defense the way we know Mahomes can when everything else, when not even everything else, when the key pivotal piece does what it needs to do, which is block. If you block, you give the guys time to get downfield. People oftentimes think, whenever I see people talk about games and I see game recap on SportsCenter and, on the sports talk shows the next morning, I always see something that talks about snap to throw. But that's very interesting to me because a play isn't fully snapped to throw. Because unless it's an RPO, there's gonna be a 3-step drop, a 5-step drop, and or a goal line fade. There's gonna be a 3-step drop, a 5-step drop, and those even that drop takes time. And so pass plays, in my opinion, pass plays don't start the moment the snap occurs. A pass play is viable. I guess that's a better word, viable. A pass play isn't viable the moment the ball is snapped. A pass play becomes viable the moment that the quarterback reaches the back of his drop and is able to survey the field, even if it is just a one read, even if he is a one read type of quarterback, he can still do that. He can still go to that read, open, boom, throw it. But they all need time to throw. And this is what I think is getting lost in the shuffle of trying to bash and just destroy Mahomes. Oh, the GOAT conversation is over. Mahomes is terrible. Played the weakest, the worst game. Is people are just, the offensive line played terrible. The offensive line played bad. They're whispering the quietest part because it's not the sexiest take. It's not the thing that's going to make social media light up. But fam, Joe Tooney, Mike Caliendo, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Juwan Taylor, you didn't play good. You didn't play good. That's where I'm saying I'm being objective. You didn't play good. If I'm giving blame, 70% of the blame goes to the offensive line. You did not play good. You did not allow an offensive rhythm to be established, even if it wasn't a team as good as the Eagles. If you don't play well against anybody and you don't do your assignments and you don't block how you're supposed to, you are not going to allow an offensive execution to be formed against anybody. And that's where my frustration comes from, is so many people are trying to pile on Mahomes that they're neglecting the other people who are key contributors to this team. It is a team sport, by the way. They are key contributors, and they didn't do their job. They didn't do their job. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. And when you don't do what you're supposed to do, beatdowns like that can happen. Hell, if the offensive line had played well and their receivers were not able to get open, are we still putting all of this blame on Mahomes? The only way you can put all the blame on Mahomes is the offensive line played well, the running game, which had not been good all season, the running game did its part, the receivers were getting open, and Patrick Mahomes is just sailing throws. He's leading guys out of bounds. He's running out of a pocket that is clean. He's skittish. He's seeing ghosts a la Sam Darnold. That is not what happened. The only mistake Mahomes made was the Cooper DeJean pick six. DeJean, the Cooper DeJean, I think it's DeJean because D-E-J, I'm sorry. D-E-J-E-A-N, Jean is G-E-J-E-A-N, so I think it's DeJean. Cooper DeJean, I've heard that more than DeJean. Cooper DeJean, that was his pick six. Congratulations to you, by the way, on your birthday, bro. That's what's up. That's the only mistake that Mahomes made, in my opinion. But dude, up to that point, what was it, 10-0, I think, at that point? There had been moments where he's under siege. The offensive line isn't blocking. I can't get back and have a comfortable moment. So this isn't solely on Mahomes. There is equal blame to go around. It's just not sexy to give equal blame. But that's where I come in. That's where we come in. Where, yes, I love Patrick Mahomes. I'm a Chiefs fan. But I can be objective and say it's more than just him. Now, he did not play well. He had moments where he looked skittish. He had moments where he looked uncomfortable. He had moments where the pressure literally was getting to him, as it would get to any quarterback. Man, look, I didn't get to play the game. My grandmother didn't let me. That's a story for another time. But I did go to one practice. I'll never forget this as long as I live. And I remember putting on the helmet and thinking to myself, wow, my vision is really like my peripheral vision is really limited because it's blocking, it's protruding out on your face, and it literally blocks your peripheral vision a little bit. And man, if as a quarterback, when I snap the ball and I got people moving in what is essentially a half circle, there's a piece of that half circle that I can't see, and I have to be able to trust that the people I can't see are still protecting me. This is why they call it the blind side. It's not because when I'm snapping and my shoulders are squared this way, I'm still looking this way. I'm still looking this way. It's because your peripheral vision is cut off on top of you being angled away. That's why it's called your blind side, man. And so if I can't trust every single snap, if I can't trust more snaps than not, that when I get this ball in my hands and I go, I'm gonna be able to survey the field and make a decision within 2.5 seconds, which is the average time to throw in the NFL. If I don't trust I can do that, any quarterback is going to look skittish. Any quarterback is going to look worried. Any quarterback is going to look unsettled because this is a pivotal part. This is a pivotal part of being of quarterbacking. Look at every single rookie who comes in and their offensive line is terrible. Bryce Young. What are we saying? Get them a good offensive line. This is not just a thing for veteran quarterbacks to overcome. No, Tom Brady wouldn't have even been able to survive with an offensive line under siege like that, bro. So, yes, he looked skittish. Yes, he played bad. But there's a reason why. Putting all of this on Mahomes the way people are, like I said, everybody else would have had to play well, and he just did not deliver. And that is not what happened down in New Orleans yesterday. That is not what happened. Now, to the Eagles, man. Everything's green for y'all. I done spent 40 minutes talking about the Chiefs. Let me get the Eagles credit, man. Eagles beat the fuck out of us. Eagles dominated. Eagles absolutely dominated. And I'm shocked. I'm actually not shocked. I'm not shocked that we bottled up Saquon Barkley because we are a great run defense. Well, we were this year. Every year is different. We were a great run defense this year. So I'm not shocked that we bottled up Saquon Barkley. And I, like many Chiefs fans, like many Chiefs pundits, said the way they're going to have to beat us is Jalen Hurts is going to have to use his arm and his athleticism to beat us. I said if we hold Saquon down and Jalen Hurts throws for 200 plus, 2+ touchdowns, in 2+ passing touchdowns in the air, and they beat us, go over to him, shake his hand, bro. You did your thing. Congratulations. You deserve one. You're a hell of a player. Been following you since Alabama and the Nick Saban 2-a-days when you had the the brown dreads, bro. Been following you since then, man. And I hated what happened to you at Alabama. I love how you came back at Oklahoma, lit it up, won the Heisman. I loved all of that. I love the story, man. So go dap him up. And if I see him, I will dap him up. But dude, if I'm being objectively honest here, the Eagles offense didn't light us up. The Eagles offense did not look unstoppable, did not look unguardable. Dallas Goedert did not light people up, did not light us up the way, because we did struggle against tight ends this year. Dallas Goedert did not light us up the way it was in my mind he could have, on my parlay sheet, that he could have. Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown did not. They had like 4 and 3 catches, I think, respectively, or 4 apiece. They didn't light us up the way they could have. They both had a touchdown, so that's 14 points between the two receivers. Saquon got held down. Jalen Hurts had a tush push touchdown. So, like, the offense wasn't dominating. Run game wasn't dominating. They weren't beating the hell out of the corners. It's just the defense. Our defense got put on the field so much. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. What they showed me and what they showed the league and what I hope they showed Brett Veach and Clark Hunt and Andy Reid is the difference in how a team can look. the difference in how a team can perform, the difference in execution, the ability to execute, the difference in all of that when you can protect your fucking quarterback. I hope Brett Veach and Andy Reid tip their cap to Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie and said, damn, you taught these old dogs a new trick. And I bet it was something that they already knew. I bet it was something that oh, snap. I just kicked my camera. Oops, I'm sorry to the live viewers. I bet it was something that they already knew, but now it's like, oh, thank you for bringing it to the forefront of my mind. Thank you for not keeping it in the recesses. We got skill positions. We got Rashee Rice and we got Xavier Worthy. You could build around those two. You get you Devontae Adams, a Cooper Kupp. You go get you some receivers in the draft. We have the offensive pieces that a quarterback needs. We have a three out of the 5 offensive linemen. We got skill positions. They showed us you don't need 3 out of 5. You need 4.5 out of 5, if not 5 out of 5. That's what it looks like. That dagger to put 34-0. That dagger, hell of a throw, beautiful throw, man. When I saw him release that ball, my heart sank. Cause dog, these quarterbacks are professional. They don't do this unless it's there to be had as a possibility. And going that deep, bruh, I'm like, man. But it wasn't the throw that broke my heart. It was seeing Jalen Hurts stand back there and the ball never come down. Just up, ready to go, and then launched it like any professional great quarterback can. He just stood back there, man. And the most we can do is try and get our hands up. We can't get our hands close to him. We gotta try and get our hands up, man. That's what broke my heart. That's what hit me like a brick when I saw it. Like, dog, that's the difference. That's what I want from my guy Patrick, is to be protected like that, to where he can sit back there and let it go. Man, every single deep pass, there was somebody near him. And he had 2 deep shots to Worthy. There was somebody near him. There was a lineman off the line being moved back into the pocket. And Patrick Mahomes I feel like at some point was just like, fuck it. If I'm a fail, I'm a fail doing what the fuck I know how to do. And he did it. He delivered some dots. There is motivation for Chiefs fans, but man, that was the biggest thing that I took away. On both of his touchdown throws, he was just standing there. He was just standing there. Not even the AJ Brown one. You can see him coming across wide open. Nick Bolton not going to keep up with AJ Brown, and he's just standing there. The Devonta Smith, you see Devonta win off the line, and is already behind our defender. And Jalen Hurts lets him get downfield. Don't throw it too early. Boom. Deep shot. Touchdown. Right on the money. Dime. Things I'm used to saying about Mahomes throws. Dime. That was a dime by Jalen Hurts, man. And it's like, wow. Even if the running game is not doing what it's supposed to do, when you have an offensive line, you can convert to the passing game. You can switch over to the passing game and make that work too. Dude, I'm not taking nothing away from the Eagles' D-line and defense. They're one of my takeaways. The Eagles' D is ferocious. Wrote it down. But dude, it's hard to execute when you don't have time. That was the main thing. The DBs, I believe if our receivers are able to open up and get into their routes, and the offensive line is able to protect, Mahomes can make something happen. Mahomes can produce. But dude, I wasn't looking at that game and fearful of the Eagles DBs going in. I wasn't fearful of the Eagles linebackers, the Eagles secondary. It was that front four. It was that front four that struck fear in my heart, and they lived up to the fear. They lived up to the nightmare. So the the secondary, look, me making this face, me talking like this is not shading them, dog. But dude, you saw Worthy get them, and I'm sure if more time is had, other people can uncover and get open too. All of these things can happen. They didn't hold us down. 7 did not hold us down as much as 4 wrecked our game plan. And that's the 11 that you put out there. That's the 11 that you put out there. Shout out to Vic Fangio. Shout out to Nick Sirianni. And shout out to every single defensive coach on that coaching staff because they put on a master class in ass whooping, beating the shit out of an offensive line. And when you do that, everything starts to break down. The quarterback becomes skittish because I do not trust my tackle, who's a guard, to be able to hold up. When I snap this ball and I drop back, and as I'm dropping back, my tackle, who is a backup, my guard, who is a backup, Mike Caliendo, is getting closer and closer to me as I'm backing up. Like this is not going to work. My tackle, Jawan Taylor, is not good. Had a bad game, man. So all of those things happen, and now the quarterback is not trusting what is going on closest to him. So therefore, he cannot dissect and inspect he cannot dissect and light up what's going on away from him. So, but I'm not taking away anything from the Eagles defensive line. They put that into the Chiefs. They put that into Patrick Mahomes. They put that into Andy Reid. I can't say they took the team apart because it wasn't every phase. It was the defense. It was the D-line. And the defense, look, yes. Cooper DeJean had a pick. Zach Bond had a pick. But I think all of that starts because of what the defensive line was doing, because of how Patrick Mahomes could not get a play in, read the play off, snap the ball, and look. He also has to think about the protection in front of him. And if you got to think about one more thing, I think as a quarterback, and you already got to think about a lot, I think it throws off everything. I think you can no longer think about the game plan and just going out there and executing the game plan because you got to think about, say, what is my tackle beat? Oh my God, Caliendo just got beat. Oh my God, Jawan Taylor's coming up. Bro, one of the most frustrating things I saw was Travis Kelce on Josh Sweat, and Isaiah Pacheco is going to like chip. That's 2 guys. There's 2 guys on 1 man. And Josh Sweat just beats them both. That should not happen. And when you look at it, when you look at the chip that happened, Pacheco just kind of gets into him. He doesn't get into him and try and drive him anywhere. He just gets into him, and once Sweat gets around, he's just trying to grab his arm. Like, bro, no. That showed me that the Chiefs just couldn't think. They couldn't think about what they had to do. They were too busy thinking about how they were getting wrecked. How they were absolutely getting wrecked. Eagles are great. Jalen Hurts, well deserving of this Super Bowl. I'm kind of with some people. You can certainly toss up a couple names of people who could have been the Super Bowl MVP. But it is a quarterback award. I'm convinced at this point, any type of MVP is a quarterback award. We'll have more takes about the award system down the line as we grow. But man, when this game is talked about in the future, as it will be, if you don't start with the defense, if you don't start with the D-line mauling the Chiefs' offensive line, you're doing the game a disservice. You're doing the person you're telling the game story to a disservice, man. Eagles D is ferocious. I wrote this down. Eagles D is ferocious. Will they continue though? But that's something that we'll talk about later on in other episodes. I'm not about to take nothing away. Shout out to Devonta Smith. Won the Heisman, won the national championship. Now won the Super Bowl. Go ahead, boy. Rings on them fingers. I don't know if you get a ring for the national championship. Probably you should. Rings on them fingers, man. Jalen, same way. Rings on them fingers, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. Shout out to Sirianni. I thought maturity was a bit of an issue, but everybody's different. Everybody's different. I do think he did mature. He does look different. He does look like he's grown since coming into the Eagles organization. Shout out to Sirianni, getting the monkey off his back. I don't know if made man in Philly is a thing yet, because we saw the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl against the Eagles and win, and then immediately after that, the Eagles lose to the Bucs in the divisional round. So I want to see it again, and that's one of the things that I wrote down too. Eagles are ferocious. I am excited to see if this can be replicated again. Nick Foles did it once. Can both sides do it again year after year? They're gonna lose Kellen. They're gonna lose Kellen Moore. They're gonna lose Kellen Moore, but we're gonna talk about that more down the line. They're gonna lose Kellen Moore, and I want to get into. I'm kicked it again. I want to get into so much stuff, but I also don't want to like take away from other episodes that I'm gonna have down the line. But we're gonna get into it. But I can get into it a little bit right now. They're gonna lose Kellen Moore, and I don't know if anybody else sees it like this, but when you are at the highest level and everybody's watching to figure out how to stop you from doing that to them. So we'll see. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, all of those guys, Josh Sweat. They also got free agency that they got to deal with and signing people. So it's a lot that goes on in the NFL. That's why it stands for not for long. One of the things I've heard for is not for long, no fun league, yada, yada, yada. Can this be replicated? Because a lot of people won one. Nick Foles won one. Russell Wilson won one. Matthew Stafford won one, although I think Matthew Stafford is better than both Russell Wilson and Nick Foles. But I'm saying there are a lot of guys that won one. Can you do it again? That for me is what starts conversations about people's greatness. And I'll get into this take a lot later. But I don't like when we blow up a rookie's great regular season. Jaden Daniels, phenomenal regular season. But can you do it again? Can you do it again? That is what now is going to let me put you in these top conversations. It's not one season for me. It's being able to do it again now that people know, now that people have this on tape, now that you put your best on tape in the Super Bowl. Now that people have that, come do it again. Come do it again. I'm not doubting that you can, but just come do it again. That is my hot take. Is there's going to be big changes on both the Eagles offense and the Eagles defense. Shady McCoy was on Colin Cowherd, and he trying to poo-poo it, and, we got guys locked up. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. But you got other guys who aren't. And when it's like this, even losing one piece can see a whole drastic change in the entire chemistry of the team. So, yeah, you got Jalen Hurts locked up. You got A.J. Brown locked up. You got Devonta Smith locked up. You got the O-line locked up. Yeah, but defense wins championships. I saw it yesterday. I never believed it. Defense wins championships. And that, you have some notable free agents there. Every year, every offseason when the team loses, I think it's Dove Kleiman or what's his name? Not Rappaport. Adam Schefter posts the team's free agent upcoming free agents, and the Eagles have some. I saw some people who was wrecking our offensive linemen listed there. So, and just the turnover of the NFL. Everyone's a year older. Everything goes into next season. So I'm excited. I am excited for the Eagles. I like Sirianni. Like I said, it's cool to see somebody grow. Him, Jalen, him and Jalen, the whole team, they grew together, and especially he, Sirianni, and Jalen grew together, and it's so dope to see them win the Super Bowl. So I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for him. I think we'll play them again several times over Mahomes' career, and it'll be a war. It'll be a war. This will be the NFC kind of rival, I guess you could say, to the Chiefs, because we played them twice in the Super Bowl. Now we played them close in the regular season, so they'll be on the rivals list along with the Bengals, also too, because they beat us. Bengals, Bills, and Eagles. Well, I guess not so much the Bengals. We kind of beat them a lot, but Bills and Eagles, just because the Bills play us close, and the Eagles stopped us from getting a Super Bowl. Man, the Bengals beat us in the playoffs, but that was 2025 will mark the fourth season since that happened. So they're kind of falling off. Maybe they'll get back, but they got some things they got to deal with too over there in Cincinnati. So Bills, Eagles, absolutely are teams that we're gonna have to contend with for a while, maybe. And I'm excited. I'm excited. I am excited. I'm excited to see what happens because even start this season, Eagles started out 2-2 and turned it around. The NFL is not for long, so enjoy it, but just know that you got to come back with that same level of intensity next year because I don't think y'all understand this. Y'all have pissed off Patrick Mahomes. You pissed off Patrick Mahomes now. There was a moment where Brady went from, Tom Brady to Tommy to Tom to that dog, to that dude. And I think this is going to do that for Mahomes the same way I think it was the loss to the Giants in '07 that flipped the switch in Brady's mind and just made him go crazy mode, man. So shout out to the Eagles. I'm not poo-pooing anything. They did they big one. They did their absolute big one on that one, man. I know Philly is crazy. Somebody check on Gilly. Somebody check on Meek Mill. Somebody check on Kevin Hart. Because I know they had them a good time last night, man. I'm not hanging my head at all. I'm not hanging my head at all as a Chiefs fan. It feels good. It feels good to see people celebrate your downfall. It feels good to see people celebrate the downfall of a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time regular season MVP. It feels good to see people celebrate the downfall of a team who, and I'm gonna regurgitate this in another episode because I am not done talking about my team. It feels good to see people celebrate the one loss, right? Of a team who, since Patrick Mahomes has been here, has been to the AFC Championship every year. It feels good to see that because that lets me know the standard that we have. That lets me know the fear that we strike in people, that people are happy to see us wounded, thinking that we are wounded and we are not going to be anymore. Think that way if you want to. Go load up on defensive linemen if you want to and watch the Chiefs load up on offensive linemen and have you looking stupid because you ain't go nowhere else and put up points to beat this team. Okay, that's cool, man. Now let me go ahead and get this. Let me go ahead and get this off my board because this is my board. This is my podcast. This is my house. And this is not going to stay on my board for long. No, we are not going to have this. So let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and get this. No. Move. Let me go ahead and get this off my stuff, man, because I gave it to you. I was gonna do this show earlier, started earlier, but I couldn't. I had to work, so I've been sitting here with these lights going off and this green behind me all day. But we about to switch it up to the real team, to the real team, because this is a podcast. Look, I'm a Chiefs fan through and through. I'm impartial. I can have my fun, but now this is the moment where we talk about the Chiefs moving forward. And don't get me wrong. I will have more talks about the Eagles. More green will be represented as we go along, fam. I will definitely do that. This is a long off season, and the Super Bowl champions will get their just due on my podcast. But when I talk about everything in the Super Bowl, fam, the Eagles didn't do much. The Eagles as a team didn't do much for me to have a long breakdown about the team. Jalen Hurts did what he was supposed to do, given the fact that I'm sorry, I can't sit back here with this shit. I can't get off my board. Get off my board. Get off my board. Get off my board. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll put it back up there. I will put it back up there. Whenever I talk about the Eagles in the Super Bowl, I'll put it back up there. But for now, I gotta sit here and have it blank. This is gonna be full of like stats. It's gonna be full of like stats and quotes and everything, man. So we gonna have fun. Am I cut off? It don't matter. I'm tall. I'm 6'2". It don't matter. This is gonna be full of like stats and quotables from the game and scores and everything. So it's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great. I want to take these final 20 or so minutes, 25 minutes to talk to the Chiefs, man. Talk to the Chiefs. The 3-time Super Bowl winning Chiefs in this Mahomes era. And I don't really know, getting my iPad, I don't really know which where I want to start. Actually, I do know where I want to start. Brett Veach, put a wall around Mahomes or retire. That is your job. That is your job now. Put a wall around Mahomes or retire. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not being I'm not exacerbating anything. I'm not embellishing anything. I am telling you what so many Chiefs fans are probably screaming right now. Put a wall around Patrick fucking Mahomes or give up your GM ship. Because I know there's somebody out there that will put a wall around Mahomes. And I'm not saying that as if you won't. I'm not saying that as if you won't. But I told you what I expect. I told you what I expect. But now I'm mad. And you got to get this smoke as somebody who is mad right now. Because we saw this in 2020, man. And we didn't give it its just due. We didn't give it its proper respect. And it came back to bite us in the ass again. I looked at this game when Mahomes got blew up for the strip sack in the third quarter. I think it was the third quarter. It might have been the fourth quarter, but I think it was the third. When Mahomes got blew up for that strip sack as he's trying to heave it deep, I said, not again. Not again. Not again. Can you believe I was holding out hope all the way through? I held out hope all the way until a minute left when we got the 2 point, but we couldn't get the ball back. I said not again. I said not again because we saw this. We saw this, and it didn't scare you enough the way it scared some of us, the way it scared me, because I would have kept. I don't care about a DeAndre Hopkins. I don't care about a Kadarius Toney, even though he made a play. Even though he made one of the big plays in that Super Bowl to help us secure a victory. I don't care about a Sky Moore. I don't care who turns out looks like may or may not be a bust. You know, I remember there was a video of him when he got drafted talking about I'm about to be $100 million man. I got Patty Mahomes, and you didn't live up to that billing. I would have insulated Patrick Mahomes like he lives in Siberia, and that offensive line is a Canada Goose coat. I would have insulated Patrick Mahomes. I'm not talking house insulation. Mahomes, home insulation. I will, if I'm Brett Veach, I'm making it my personal mission to insulate Patrick Mahomes for the rest of my career with Patrick Mahomes. And if my career with Patrick Mahomes isn't the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career, then I am insulating Patrick Mahomes for the rest of his effing career. So you know I'm serious. Look in my eyes. For the rest of his effing career, insulate Patrick Mahomes. Don't ever do this to us again. Don't ever do this to us again, Brett. Please don't ever do this to us again. I want 5 strong. I want 5 strong to become a hashtag in Chiefs Kingdom for how good this offensive line is. When I look at teams like Detroit, when I look at the Lions, when I look at teams like the Vikings, when I look at teams like the Niners, who the Niners have Trent Williams and a bunch of other guys who are good. The Lions have Penei Sewell. Actually, you know what? But you know what? Because I'm so authentic, man. Because I'm so authentic, I have to actually get the names of these people. 2024 season for the Niners. Left tackle Charlie Heck. Left guard Nick Zakelj. Center Trent Williams on IR, but Trent Williams would be there if he was at left tackle. But Trent Williams would be at left tackle. Or Spencer Burford maybe would be there at left guard, right? But I'm seeing Trent Williams and a bunch of guys. Let's go to the Lions. Let's go to the Lions depth chart real quick from this last season in terms of their offensive line. I'm seeing Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker is good. It's good. I know he's good. But other than that, and I'm look, I know when people say guys, they refer to like Jags, like just a guy. No, like these are guys, but these are not people who are on the level of Penei Sewell, who are on the level of Trent Williams. Now, when I go look at it's just the fuck. It angers me every time I think about it, man. When I go look at the Eagles depth chart, look at their line: Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Mekhi Becton, Lane Johnson. I bet all of those guys are illustrious when talked about among the line community. So that's what you need around Patrick. And when I bring up teams like the Lions, the Niners, I don't even know any O linemen on the Vikings off the top of my head like that. But the reason I bring them up is because how explosive they looked. You got Jettas and you got Jordan Addison and you got T.J. Hawkinson and of course Aaron Jones helps. But fam, Sam Darnold. You mean to tell me a Sam Darnold led offense can look more explosive than an Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes led offense? Because of what? Because of protection. Was it always like that? No, we saw Sam Darnold get lit up in the game for the 1 seed, and I don't know if he got lit up as much as he just wasn't good. But in the playoff game, yeah, they was getting after him. You telling me Vikings and Lions can look as good can look better, can look like a more explosive team than the Chiefs? If I didn't watch football at all, I would believe that the Vikings and the Lions are a more explosive team than the Chiefs. I would believe that their quarterback can play better because when it comes to football and the deep shots and just moving the ball and having an offense that's putting up a lot of points, and you tell me that Super Bowl champions are teams that are dominant and all of this, I would look at the Lions. And if you told me that Super Bowl champions are dominant, explosive, and led by great quarterbacks, and that's all I knew. I didn't know anything about the history of the game or anything. And I watched the season this year. I would ask you, so how many Super Bowls the Lions got? How many Super Bowls the Vikings got? How many Super Bowls does Jared Goff have? He seems pretty dope. Is he a Hall of Famer? Because he out here lighting it up. Is Dan Campbell a Hall of Fame coach? Because he is just play calling it up. They're not that much better, but the offensive line, the line, and it's so crazy because again, 3 Pro Bowlers on our offensive line, but you broke it when you took one of them and you moved them out. I think that had way bigger ramifications than people are giving it credit for, and I get it, it's not sexy, but that's just what it is. That's the truth. So Brett Veach, personal mission to you, bro. Please fix this. Please don't ever have me sitting here screaming at my TV for Patrick Mahomes to throw the ball, but he can't because he's being swarmed. Please don't ever let this happen again, man. We have a team that is too good. We have a team that is too good. We have a coach that is too good. We have a quarterback that is too good to ever have a moment like this ever happen in our franchise's beautiful history ever again. I know the Hunt family is disappointed in that. I know Taylor was disappointed. Paul Rudd was disappointed. Everybody was disappointed. But it starts up front. It starts up front, man. I don't want nobody to hang their heads. I don't want nobody to hang their heads. No, 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 no. To Chiefs fans, they are still chasing us. To Mahomes, they are still chasing you. They still want to be like you. Every quarterback in the league is chasing you, and you are chasing Brady. Don't you ever fucking forget that. Don't you ever fucking forget that. Andy Reid, I know you coming back. I know you coming back. I know you mad. I know you mad. Come light him up. If you ask me, if you ask me, Nagy got to go. I don't want Matt Nagy back because Andy Reid. Andy Reid has been the coach through and through since Mahomes has been there, right? Andy Reid has been the coach. When Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator, this team was lighting it up, and they didn't have even when they lost the speedster like Tyreek Hill or he was getting bottled up. They didn't. It was just Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And that was 2018 to 2025. 7 years. No, I'm sorry. 2019, 2020 is when I would start this. So 2020 and 2021. So 2021, so 4 years. So Travis Kelce aged in 4 years. No, he was always older. Mahomes came, and I think Travis Kelce was in like maybe his third or fourth year. I'll fact check myself on that to see. But Mahomes didn't get both Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Mahomes did not. I'm sorry. Put it like this: Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce did not enter into their primes with Mahomes as quarterback. So that wasn't the case. That was not the case, and that certainly has an effect. But even still, when Bieniemy was there, this team and his offense, the numbers for Patrick look way different. And I don't think Nagy, and I think I'll talk more about this in my next show. My next show is going to be more Chiefs related. I didn't think Nagy was that good of a Chicago Bears coach. The Bears offense didn't look high flying. It didn't look elite. They weren't a top offense in the league when we hired him. So I never felt comfortable about the Nagy hire from jump. And I've always said, like, man, something's different between Bieniemy and Nagy. I'm not behind closed doors. I didn't operate with him. I didn't see what was going on. But there's something different, man. There is something different. We still have this great quarterback. We still have this great coach. Something is different. And I don't know what the offensive coordinator does in Andy's system. I believe Andy calls plays. I'll get more into this later on. I believe Andy calls plays, but I believe the coordinator does have a hand in designing and setting up the game plan in these plays for this week, and has some sway. Put it like that, man. And I think if you have an offensive coordinator who wasn't explosive as a head coach, I don't think they're going to be explosive as an offensive coordinator, man. So please, 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 for the love of God, I really hope that they don't bring Nagy back and they bring a fresh voice in that can design and can work with Andy, and Andy can work with him or her, I don't care, to design an offense that unleashes Patrick effing Mahomes, man. That's what I want. That's what I want. I'm not saying that Nagy is bad. I just think it was cool. I think Nagy is average. And I think when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame coach, a top 10 potential wide receiver in Xavier Worthy, a top 10 potential wide receiver in Rashee Rice, and I think Rashee Rice's potential is pretty chiseled and locked in stone. When you have all those pieces, you cannot have anything just be average. You cannot have anything just be run-of-the-mill, not your running backs, not your O-line, not your coordinator. Everything has to be as top tier as possible because the most important piece is top tier. You don't get a Ferrari and then put some bullshit wheels on it. You don't get a Ferrari. You don't get the body of a Ferrari and put a Fiat engine in it. No, you need the biggest. You need all the components to maximize what this thing is, and I don't think Nagy is that. I felt this for the past 2 years, and Mahomes and Andy and the team has found a way to put together the best performances. We went 11-6, and I think the other season was 14-3 or 13-4. The year we beat the Eagles, and we went 11-6 when we went 11-6. I don't care right now, but they still found a way to win, but I was never overly impressed with the offense in any of those seasons, man. So I don't want Matt Nagy back, but that's not my call. We'll just have to wait and see. Eagles put the beaties on us, man. Eagles put the beaties on us. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I don't know who's hurt worse. Myself as a football fan, because I was hoping for adjustments, or myself as a Chiefs fan because we saw this. We saw this against the Bucks in the Super Bowl, and on the biggest stage, the hope is that glaring issues get stomped out. There are no embers. There is no hole with a leak in it in the boat. Put some flex, put some Flex Seal in that thing. No, not Flex Seal. Cut off, dock the boat, dry dock the boat, cut out that hole, fix it, plug it so that it never happens, reinforce it with steel, reinforce it again, reinforce it again, reinforce it again with anti-rust, reinforce it again with insulation. Hell, build another piece of the ship outside of that hole so that even if there is another hole, it has to permeate into the ship. Like, dog, So I'm absolutely disappointed, man. We're gonna get way deeper into this as we go along, and I am able to break down and get all 22 breakdowns, and kind of hear more stuff, and I'm able to learn more about the game plan, anything, because I'm a real fan. If you want to call me anything, you can call me a journalistic fan. I have to wait and hear stuff, and then I react to it. So I'll listen to what Andy has to say about this in the coming days, and exit interviews, and I'll take also things that Clark Hunt says about what we have to do to get better, and what Patrick has to do to get better. I'll also listen up for what Travis is going to do in his future. I don't think Travis is leaving out like this, man. I don't think Travis is leaving out like this at all. Definitely need a run game. We'll be discussing that in the coming weeks. Today Tuesday. It's today Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. Oh no, today's Monday. We're good. We'll definitely be discussing that in coming up later on in this week. I'm gonna try and do every Monday. I'm gonna try and do 2 to 3 times a week of streaming to start out, and then as we grow, obviously I'll be able to put more into it. So we'll definitely talk more about it. Either if I want to do 3 times a week, it'll be Wednesday. If I want to do 2, it'll either be Thursday or Friday. Just kind of wind it down here, man, because I'm also still shell shocked a little bit. I think that loss shook Chiefs Kingdom a little bit, because you don't expect to see that. I think if you were to ask a Chiefs fan after we won our first Super Bowl with Mahomes, do you ever expect to be down 34-0 in a playoff game? The answer would be a resounding no. The answer would be a resounding no. And for that type of performance to happen, it shook the entire fan base, man. Now, I'm not going nowhere. I heard people today, professional people talking about, Mahomes is falling off. Mahomes can't be the GOAT. Yes, he can. Yes, he absolutely can. He played a horrible game. But he did not play a horrible game because he played a horrible game. He played a horrible game because the team around him especially the offensive line, biggest the offensive line, did not give him did not give him time to get the offense into a rhythm. And you need that. You need to be able to get people into a rhythm. You need to be able to build things up. And when you can't do that, when you can't start to ramp up, even a Ferrari has to go from zero. When you can't even start to accelerate, you can't do anything. And that is why, no matter where I'm at, no matter who I'm talking about, I will keep the same energy. If an offensive line gets dominated, I'm going to say an offensive line got dominated because they are the most crucial, most important piece to an offense being successful. They are the most crucial, most important piece to a field goal being kicked. We saw that against Denver. They are the most crucial to a punt being executed perfectly. We've seen many a punt block where people get beat. Fam, the line matters so much. And I really want people to give the line its proper due, man. I really want people to give the line its proper due. Um, and I don't think people are going to do that. I think people are going to act like this is all on Mahomes, and it wasn't. I will die on that hill. I will fight anybody on that hill that this was not all on Patrick Mahomes. This was an offensive line that just got bullied and beat down. And 6 sacks, I'm grateful there weren't more. And at one point, bro, when Mahomes got that strip sack or he got blown up and Jalen Carter like punched him in the face, by the way. Oh, yeah, by the way, all that ref narrative, you can go ahead and dead that dumbass shit. But when Mahomes got blew up like that, man, at that point, I started to worry for his safety. And there should never be a point in the NFL where you have to worry about the safety of the quarterback playing. That should never be a thing. So it was a loss. It was a loss. It was a loss. It was a good old fashioned ass whooping. But honestly, if I had to take a worse loss for Mahomes, if I had to take Mahomes' worst loss, if I had to take Mahomes' worst performance, I would take it while Mahomes has on his resume 3 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs, record for most offensive yards in a season by any player, offensive player of the year, and many-time Pro Bowler, many-time All-Pro, and still the person that everybody in the league is chasing. I will gladly take that type of. I won't gladly take that. I won't gladly take that type of loss. Let me not say that. But if I had to pick a point, if I have to, pick a point where that type of loss occurs, then I will take it occurring at this point of that man's career. I'll take it. I'll take it. We'll bounce back. We will be better next year. Rashee Rice. I don't know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice, man. The legal stuff, people are just assuming it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to be there for sure. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. But Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy gave every Chiefs fan a reason to smile at the end of the game. I don't care if it's against Prevent. I don't care if it's against the backups. That D-line was still ferocious. They were still, I think those guys were like, fuck no, you're not taking me out. I'm eating to the very end. And he still made something work. So Xavier gave us reason to smile. We'll talk more about that in the coming episodes. But yeah, this was a good old-fashioned beatdown. Congratulations to the Eagles. I will never take anything from the Eagles, man. We'll definitely talk more about y'all in coming episodes too, because I kind of want to break down how this defense was constructed. 2 Super Bowl teams over 3 seasons. That's great, and I'm gonna definitely kind of dig into Jalen Hurts a little more, Saquon a little more, and what's gonna happen now with the Eagles, because I see people saying that, oh, this is a team that's poised for greatness, and they are, but I want to see how the ego happens here, because we saw ego when things weren't going well, and a lot of people say that losing shows you who you are, losing reveals character, winning reveals character too. Winning reveals character too, and I'm gonna break that down more as we dive more into this, man. Like I said, long off season. We're gonna have off season stuff to talk about too. So yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for watching. We're gonna have a lot of fun. This is episode 1 of the Chaos and Calamity Sports Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at CC Sports 360 at CC Sports 360. You can follow me. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment. Let me know where I'm talking crazy. Let me know where I'm spot on. I loved it. I love doing this. This is gonna be so much fun. I am so excited. And as always, my friends, bring on the chaos.